Hey, what's going on, guys? Um, so here's the deal. Let's start from the top. The reason why I say 2019 isn't real, for those who may be wondering why, it's because of basically just doing a little bit of math and um, a little bit of historical research and and background checks. Like an employer, you got to do background checks these days, man. Anybody could be running around here claiming to be this, that, or the other. That's why they got these lists, man. These websites that you put all the pedophiles and all the sexual assaulters. You gotta let it be known, man. Who's a sexual assaulter? Who's a predator? Who is lying? Who is in control of your destiny, your time, your dates? And so, with a simple background check, I, every year I've been doing this, and I just want to express it, man, without being cut off or people giving me funny looks and stuff. You can look at this video, and I don't have to worry about you giving me funny looks, wondering, what am I talking about? And why am I being so conscious, I guess? Why does it matter? So, we're under the Gregorian calendar now. So, the Gregorian calendar was instituted in 1565 or something like that by Pope Gregory, I believe the 13th, to basically correct some issues that they found with the calendar that they were under prior. Now these are Romans. Okay, so this is the Roman Pope, Pope Gregory. Just so Rome, we know where Rome is. We know how big it is. We know, boom, this is not an Australian calendar. This is not an Asian calendar. This is not an African calendar. This is a pope, a calendar from a pope that is part of or who is loyal to a kingdom or empire that's in control of a certain aspect of creation or people and things like that. So he decided to reform the Julian calendar that had some issues. And the Julian calendar had been prior to that time in play for almost 1600 years, because you find that Julius Caesar reformed the Roman calendar. When Julius Caesar reformed this calendar in 46 BC, okay? Simple. I mean, this shit is simple math. Like simple math. I mean, it's just simple. So this is another Roman emperor who says, now I'm going backwards. I like to go backwards. I don't know why, but it's for some reason I like to start here and then just go backwards. And, you know, the past is so much, it teaches you so much. 46, around 45, 46 BCE, Julius Caesar said, nah, I need to make the calendar like this based on what my scientists is saying. So they changed the calendar, I think, from the 10-month calendar that the Roman calendar was, they were operating under prior to that, and they went to the 12-month calendar, but it was still only 355 days. It was short 10 days. And they ain't started noticing that until the Pope in the 16th century, who switched it to the Gregorian calendar. And then the Roman calendar, um, the version of it, they didn't copy it exactly, came from the Egyptian calendar. And then became the Roman version of that calendar. So the Romans, so, but you got to ask, like, well, but, so my question is, why 2019 years? Why only 2019 years? Something like, what was this day one? And I'm still actually going back. I actually skipped over that part. But what I do know is that in 753 BC, or Arc 1 or AUC 1, which is some Latin term that means the beginning of the Roman Empire, that's the way that they said the days or said the years from that time forward. So Arc 1 was the same as 753 BC is how we referring to it. So it's 753 BC when the Roman Empire became an empire, where they established themselves as dominants. Obviously, they conquered. They finished conquering other factions or other nations. They called it Arc 1. So 707 years later, Julius Caesar, which is in Arc 707, 46 BC, he says, we need to reform this calendar. Now, when he reformed the calendar, what I didn't discover in my readings was that whether or not they started a whole new year or arc, or did they keep it going? So if they kept it going, then the year that Julius Caesar switched it, it'll be 708, and then 709, and then all the way down to 46 years later, which puts us back at 753, which is now the beginning of what they call the Common Era, or the CE is what is it? Christ, the Christian era. So this is the Christian era comes in, and somebody decides that this kingdom, which just started 2019 years ago, will begin a year one, not Arc 1, but year one under this Roman Catholic. Now, this is now a Roman Catholic empire. A Roman Catholic empire. Year one for them. See, the Roman Empire had the Arc 1. And then something or somewhere along the way, they've been fighting. These Romans and Byzantines and Carthaginians and Persians fighting. They've been fighting they was battling. So somebody came up with another idea of what this Roman Empire would look like, and they called it the Roman Catholic Church. And then they began this era called the Christian era, or the Catholic era. And here we are now under this Catholic era, this Roman Catholic era in 2019 years of their era. And we're claiming it as our own. We're claiming it as our own. And every time we claim it, we continue to fuel this empire and keep this empire alive. On a physical level, on a metaphysical level, on an ancestral level, and so many levels. We have to just walk away from so much things, man. And when I say I'm speaking to everybody, because how can you say that you support a Roman Empire, anything that has anything to do with the Roman Empire, when they murdered your people? They murdered your people. I don't care who you is. I don't care if you from UK. They murdered your people who already had a calendar, who already had a system. They went into your lands in Poland and Finland and Turkey and all these lands, and they murdered your people. And they instituted their way, and we follow it like we don't remember, like we got amnesia as to what happened to us. And when I say us, I mean that blood that runs through these veins, and that DNA and that mitochondria that keeps replicating itself over and over again, not being brand new, but be from the beginning of time, felt that pain, felt that suffering, felt the joyous the triumphs that we basked in prior to the invasion of this army. We felt it all, and we remember it. And so, it's our duty to just walk away from a ideology and a mindset. I mean, there's so much power in the mind, man. It's electrical signals and energy coming off of this daggone organ or this muscle or this entrapment. When I don't really want to call it the mind, it's the mindset. I don't point. So if I'm pointing, forgive me, the mind. Because there is no evidence that the mind and consciousness is inside. So when I say the mind, I say all over. But we need to allow ourselves to understand the difference between ourselves, the brain, the creative force, the creator, but also our relationship to it all. And when we change how we access the information that the brain has downloaded, the subconscious has downloaded, and we change how we access that, how we use it, and how we perceive it, and we operate accordingly and boycott this Roman Empire, boycott Rome, boycott this Roman Catholic Church. You ain't got to put your Bibles down, but you got to boycott this damn empire. I mean, because we've been lied to. Everybody know that. We've been lied to by so much. It's 2019. You can pick up the daggone Google some stuff, get some information, go through 5, 6, 7 different sites if you need to compile extra data just to cross-reference and things like that. And you can figure out half of this stuff. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. It just takes an open heart and an open mind to see that we've been bamboozled and we're a conquered people. And I'm just asking, do you want to remain a conquered people and have the things that you have now and be satisfied with their victory over humankind and the suffering that took place as a result? Are you satisfied with that? Are you cool with taking those type of L's? If so, you can stop this video right now, because to not be satisfied with it, it takes a lot of sacrifice. To say I am dissatisfied and to walk in it, it's going to take so much sacrifice. It's going to test you. It's going to test whether you a real woman or a real man for real. It's going to test us, because consciously, logically, we shouldn't be partaking in anything that came out of that empire that didn't come from us first and that wasn't good for us. There's so much that came out of that empire that came from us, the indigenous people across this planet who suffered at their hands, but there's not the whole. It's just fragments. And so I want you guys to just go into this new year, this new Roman Catholic year, this new Catholic Empire, the year of the Catholic Empire, the 2019th year of this Catholic Empire. I want you to go into it clean. I want you to try to clean yourself inside and out so that you can hear words like this even louder and even clearer. When you hear truth and when you hear logic, when you hear understanding and wisdom, that you don't run from it. that you say, you know what, I like what he's saying, and I'm going to partner in him in that ideology. I like what she's saying. I'm going to partner with her in that ideology, and change will be my middle name. Transformation will be my title. Honor will be a badge that I wear. True loyalty to the living and those who are in the non-physical realm. True loyalty and honor to them will be one of your number one principles. And the more we are, the stronger it emanates, and the compromise is less. Because I ain't going to lie. I'm not going to lie. It's easy to compromise when you're surrounded by so much compromising. It's easy to compromise, but it takes so much strength and courage to not compromise, to not bow down to going backwards. To going backwards. There's no 2019. Not for us. Unless we want to mark this as the 2019 year that we've been in captivity. Or I can count even larger than that. 2,777. What did I write it down? 2,772nd year of being under a Roman Empire, Roman/Catholic Empire. Do we want to bask and celebrate that? Do we want to note that that's how long we've been under their captivity? Prisoners? Is that how we want to say it? Because that's the truth. You can't even mark it up to no other way than that. That's the truth. That is the truth. And I ain't telling no lies. I'm not. So I was just telling my 8-year-old who, responsible little guy. He's in the shower. I didn't have to tell him. So I was telling my Cyrus, my Silco, we don't even have to gauge lengths of time and age ourselves yearly. We don't have to age ourselves yearly. We don't have to age ourselves the way that they decided to tell it. We don't have to age ourselves based on the earth going around the sun one time. We don't have to. We can do every 5 times. We can age ourselves by seasons. We can age ourselves by months. Or we can age ourselves by events. We don't have to do that. That is just something that was implemented by an empire and it worked for them. Aging, to note, I've turned another year older towards this inevitable old age. And my mind, and now you're telling your brain this. We tell our brains this, and then our brain, it's like, oh shit, we're on the clock. And our cells are like, oh shit, we're on the clock. And from what we've seen, with this vessel's eyeballs have seen and his ears have heard, this clock pretty much runs out anywhere between, 70 and 100. So who knows? These cells probably start operating under that guise that they will soon come to an end around 70 to 100. So that's how they function. That's how they function. But yet a tree is like, no problem. We gonna live. We gonna live for 150,000 years. Some trees. We gonna live. So we all, our brains have been manufactured with so much information that we didn't even get a chance to even dictate what the information would be. We didn't have put our say so in it, whether we wanted to age ourselves by years. Why maybe I want to do seasons. I'm 160 seasons. You know? I'm 160 seasons, and most people live to be 700 seasons. I don't know, but it's all a mental crutch. So I understand when the ancients, the Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians and the Nubians said, "Know yourself. Know yourself above all. Don't let the Romans tell you who you is. Don't let the state of Maryland tell you who you are. Don't let the DC public school system or your whatever educational system tell you who and what you are, how you supposed to age, and how you supposed to look at a flower, or how you supposed to deal with things unless it's an instruction that keeps you from doing things wrong or things that's detrimental to someone else. You know? Like how we're harming the planet even though we thought we needed gas for cars. We didn't we are unlimited people, you know? I think it was good back in the day when we had limits on things. Like you couldn't watch freaking television all night long. You had a limit to that shit. You couldn't talk on the phone, on your cell phone, outside if you were not at home all day unless you had unlimited. You can't drive, you can't get to Asia unless you're ready to take that travel on this boat or swim. Like there were limitations for a reason, and humans keep trying to press and stretch those limitations. And we want unlimited this and unlimited that, and so we can be consumed with it unlimited, 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 unlimited. That was never the intention of creation. We must know how to be frugal and save some. I watched this documentary of a tribe, an indigenous tribe in 2016, still thriving on the land, no government, who would hunt alligators and would hunt, would take the would like share a lion's kill with the lion. Like they would go out and rough the lion off and take his kill. But with one thing they did, they never took more than they needed. They only took what they needed and they left the rest for the lion. They could have chopped that thing up. The alligator, they come across an alligator pregnant. They was like, no, we can't kill this one. And they were hungry. They needed food. They were like hungry. They hadn't caught any much in a while. They were still happy, but you know, they were hungry. Like they wanted to eat more than what they had. They had their veggies and stuff, but they wanted some alligator. It was a feast coming up, but the alligator was pregnant. It was like, no, we don't kill. You know, big jump too. They could have got the alligator and the baby, but no. So we take so much, man, and because we learn from our oppressor, the person who took us, we're learning from him, from them. That's why it was so easy for them to take us, because we gave, because we didn't take. We were givers, and we gave, and they was like, damn, they give so easily. We'll just take it. Even worse. And that's what ended up happening. And then when we figured it out, we mounted up arms, we got our military in order, our queens rose, our soldiers rose to power, and we fought, and we fought, and we fought. And I say we, I'm talking about the indigenous people of lands across this planet. And the source of where these dominating powers got their power from, which is the Egyptian culture, the Egyptian people, all 24 dynasties, maybe 25, I don't know. The specifics in that, it doesn't matter. But you're talking about 24 dynasties, right? of people who look like me. It's on the walls. People who look like me thriving beautifully. We talking about 15,000 years at least. There was an ice age that disrupted a reigning people who were advancing generation after generation. And then here come these Romans, and here come these Persians, here come these Northerners from the Caucasus Mountains. After they've got established, after being helped out by other indigenous Africans coming up from Ghana and coming up from modern day Libya and modern day Syria and places like that, coming into Europe, Morocco, these Africans coming out of Morocco going into Europe to help these Europeans develop civilizations and cities and towns and order and science and art. It was like, man, y'all shit tight. We just went with y'all got. Boom. Snatched their shit up, got their stuff in order, came down from the north, came into the so-called Middle East, which is Africa, started fighting with those folk, dominated them, came across the daggone Red Sea, started fighting with the Egyptians, lost, came back, fight some more, lost, came back. They kept coming, figuring us out, sending in spies. I'm talking about 15, 20, I'm talking about, then next thing you know, we got another group of people. All these group of people's coming into East Africa trying to dominate. You got these daggone Hebrews, aka Hyksos people. They come in because they fleeing these daggone Caucasus Mountain men. They fleeing them. Like, look, man, please don't kill us. We need, hey, can y'all let us in? We need some protection. They like, all right, boom, we'll let y'all in. No problem. They come in and they get drunk on all this daggone lavish living. All this is this technology in their eyes. And then they turn around and stab them in the back. Like, we want the throne. Take the throne. Take all their knowledge that they learned, and they create their own system, specifically a religious system, and they wrote it in a book and called the book the Torah or the Talmud. And that Talmud or Torah became the Old Testament. And this Old Testament was a plagiarized story coming out of Egypt, stories coming out of Mesopotamia, because they came down from Mesopotamia and Samaria with their information, knowledge. Then they reigned in Egypt for like 300 to 400 years. But the Africans came back strong. They came up from the south and they came in from the east. From the west, and they came in strong, like, boom, get it back. And we had it back for a little while, but the Hyksos, they got in cahoots with the Romans. It's like, we know them. They're pretty much weak right now. All you got to do is mob with us, and we can take it over. They already got a system. We can follow that. I know it a little bit. Let's mount up. You got guns? What you got? You got a plan? All right, boom. So they go in, and they beat them down. They beat them down bad. And then we fall, and the empire falls. The Egyptian, African, Kemetic empire falls. And now you have this Romans and these Hebrews, Hyksos, Judas men. They decide to, partner up. But Rome said, hey, what's that over there? And so they look back, they turn their back, and guess what Rome did? Bow, shot him right in the back of the head. Killed off these Bamas. They took over, took the book, said, you know what? Now it's our turn. Let's enter in our God. Let's create our God. And we're going to superimpose him on the God that the Hebrews had, because their stories and their tales are, they're good enough. Most of the people will fall for it. They'll think that it's divine. It's easy because we'll have control of their minds. We'll superimpose our God on top of the God and make him a man. We're going to take anthropomorphic uh, practices and put it into real life. And we're going to make him a man, and then we're going to write our books onto what we want the world to know, because this is our empire anyway. We done killed off the Hebrews. Then we don't need them no more. They fled. Now Rome is ours. And then I can go on. I can go on. But make a long story short, guys, and I made a short story super long. Rome, just after, at that point, they sent out their edicts, they sent out their papal bulls, and the mission was to spread like a virus across the globe. Across the globe in some way, shape, or form. We're going to conquer every lands that we can't set up shop in. We're going to take control of their leaders. We're going to set up shop in most lands, and we're going to let it play out. We're going to see what happens. But we got this plan in play, and we're going to copy and paste most of what we already have been doing, and from Latin, we're going to, create a new language, and put our best scholars and our best literary geniuses to work, and we're going to write the rest of these books, and we're going to make it obvious that it comes from us, because all the names are going to be Roman names of people and Roman places, and then we'll hide the fact that the word holy comes from the word helios, which means sun, and the word Bible comes from the word biblios, which means books. We're going to hide the fact that this is really a sun book, because they're not going to figure it out. How will they? There's no way they'll be able to just go to some type of device and access information at the tip of their at the call of their voice. There's no way. They didn't have any idea that we would be able to figure that out. So now here we are in their glorious 2,772nd year, and we're celebrating constantly, celebrating instead of freeing ourselves. I call you, and I'm a representative. As a representative of the men, women, and children who lost their lives at the hand of this Roman Catholic Empire, I call you to choose a side. Choose your side now. Choose your side now. Make that your 2019. Whose side are you going to choose? Whose side are you on?